Hi guys, Joffrey the Giant, coffee, honey, nutmeg, cinnamon, black pepper. By now, most of you guys will have tracked on the whole tempest in a teacup thing with Aziz Ansari, the comedian. This guy, Aziz Ansari, had, well, he was the darling of all the white people podcasts 2 or 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Time is difficult to keep track of these days. For something he did in combination with a college professor. It was a sort of a comedy routine, sort of a sociology experiment, a sexual mores experiment, in which he documented and discussed and displayed the sexual expectations, habits, and behaviors of his generation. And it's all the same stuff that we've been accustomed to hearing about for the past 15, 20 years, going back as far as, Wolf's hooking up, right? And the hookup culture of the late 90s and early 2000s, and whoop, okay, on we go, right? People grow up. The next generation is trained up, etc. So this tempest in a teacup thing is this woman who wrote an article for Babe.com, a hashtag #MeToo moment, except it wasn't. The general response to the story of how Aziz Ansari went out on this date with this woman, and basically even the feminists are sort of saying, this woman's experience was basically a disappointing evening. So at worst, Aziz Ansari was sort of an asshat, an inconsiderate tool. And this woman was outraged by this. She was extremely uncomfortable throughout the evening because he did things such as choose her wine for her. And, well, make sexual advances. And at no point did she say no. And they, you need to go read this, read the original article, read some of the responses to it to see that truly it was, you can actually tell that there was nothing there because Aziz Ansari is still standing and he still has a career. A couple years ago, his show on Netflix was recommended to me, Master of None, okay? So I went and I began to watch the first episode. The first episode opens with him having sex. And it was so tawdry, right? It wasn't, there's a sense in which all sex on television is tawdry, but it was, I suppose it was supposed to be realistic, so it was clumsy and slow as opposed to passionate, right? And conversational, right? They're talking. But the conversation, it just sounded, the reason it was especially tawdry is that the conversation was, it sounded like a health class in a government school. And this is what the master of sex, the podcast darling who knows what sex for this generation is like, this is what he is supposed to show what sex for these people is. Needless to say, I didn't continue watching the show. So here's the thought I want to leave you guys with. It's, I've heard it put out there by other guys even before this little tempest in a teacup. I love saying that. But this formulation or variants thereof I've seen floating around again because of this. And this is the idea in a nutshell. Consent is a difficult thing to gain. Right, so aside, these sorts of disastrously unfulfilling evenings are going to continue forever because consent is a difficult thing to gain. Since consent is a difficult thing to gain, let's make sure we obtain it in a very public and prominent way. In fact, why don't we make it so that we obtain consent forever in front of God, a pastor, family and friends, and many witnesses? Boom. Done. See, because this is the real problem. There's no way to pull off sexual relationships that truly honor and respect both the man and the woman without that, without doing it the right way, without it being marriage. Outside of that, so even within that, right, there can be problems. But outside of that, it's guaranteed, right? There will always be a winner and a loser. There will always be losers. There could be two losers. Goodness gracious. It's just it's hard to process why people put themselves out there to be taken advantage of for so little fulfillment, because they've been lied to for so long. Y'all, consent, public ceremony, in front of God and the world, makes it simple, doesn't it? Makes it clear. All right, people, I'm out of here. Look forward to talking to you the next time.